Coming up on Metro Matters, we will have Louisville Downtown Partnership, followed by Brightside. Please join us for a half an hour of great information. Welcome to Metro Matters on Metro TV. Today we're talking all things boards and commissions. Our guest today is Rebecca Fleischaker and Andy Trinan with the Louisville Downtown Management District Board. Welcome.
Thank you.
Great to be here.
Thank you. So Andy, you're the chair, correct? And Rebecca, what is your role?
I am the executive director, both of the Management District and Louisville Downtown Partnership, which get conflated a lot.
Right. Talk to me a little bit. Let's set that standard right now.
So Louisville Downtown Partnership is our organization's name. We are an umbrella agency. We have two major entities. The Downtown Management District is one, and then we have a nonprofit, Downtown Development Corporation, which is our second one.
And so, Andy, you're the chair of the board.
And don't worry, it took me a couple years to figure all that out, too. So, yes, I'm the chair of the LDMD board.
So talk a little bit about the board. How long has that been established, and why was it established?
Well, that board was established in 94. The overall umbrella was established in 1990. And it's really, to look out for the betterment of downtown. All successful downtowns have a combination of public and private ownership, and everyone who serves on our board and Rebecca and her outstanding staff are just looking out for a clean and safe and outstanding experiential downtown Louisville, and they work hard every day to make that happen.
So because I am the director of boards and commissions, I know how many people, what the stat says in terms of how many people you can have on your board. And I think it says up to 40. Of course, you don't want a board that size. So tell me a little bit. I know that there are specific boundaries that and prescribed seats for your board members. Talk a little bit about that, and why do you feel like that is needed?
I believe we currently have 25
Yeah.
on the board, and they all come from within the bid, the area that is represented, and the area paying taxes in those areas, or in the downtown.
We call those
bid.
assessments, not tax.
Assessments, thank you. See, she runs the organization, I just serve on the board. But it's a great group of individuals who have an interest not only in downtown success, but also a financial interest in its growth.
It's actually called for in our ordinance and also in our bylaws that there must be a certain percentage of representation from property owners that represent hotels, offices, restaurants, and we also have some residents on our board.
Andy, as the chair, what drew you to this board, and what made you want to serve on this board?
I think I love downtown. I love Louisville, and I want it to be successful, and that is a common thread that runs through everybody on the staff and everybody that serves on the board. As I'm into it, I'm learning more and more about the great work that this LDP does every year in placemaking, in events, the ambassador program, which is something that all of us are incredibly proud of, because you have a feeling in downtown that someone is looking out for you, that you're in a safe and really friendly place as you engage with ambassadors every day. So when I first joined, I didn't know a whole lot about how the organization worked, the function of the board, and I've learned every year more and more, and it's something that I'm very proud to be a part of.
So this is a volunteer board, but outside of this board, do you have other volunteer opportunities with your department?
We do a spring cleanup every year that gets a ton of volunteers who sign up for it. It's particularly, it's like dusting the cobwebs off of the winter, getting ready for Derby, which is a perfect reason to get people out cleaning. But there's a lot of corporate teams that come together that want to wear matching T-shirts and get out on our downtown streets. That's our big one that we push every year because people want to be involved and help make our downtown look great.
Now, is your department, talk to me a little bit about how it is associated with Louisville Metro Department.
So our organization is a completely separate nonprofit. We're a DBA under Louisville Downtown Partnership is the DBA for the nonprofit of Downtown Development Corporation. I'd say we're a cousin of Metro government. We do get money from Metro government in two different ways. They provide money to our Downtown Development Corporation through the BATS lease of Slugger Field. And then they actually pay a fee in lieu of the bid assessment for properties in the downtown management district as a ratepayer. And so we work very closely with the mayor's office, with the economic development team, with the cabinet for economic development, Jeff O'Brien's old cabinet for community development team. Codes and regulations, public works is we have monthly meetings with all of these groups because it is very important that we are in lockstep for how downtown looks and feels, and that we are trying to grow development, energy, vitality, and the mayor's leading a large part of that too. So we don't want to ever be crossways or out in front of him. We do a lot of these projects together and initiatives together.
And that partnership, I think, cousins, as Rebecca called it, is, I think, one of the reasons she's uniquely qualified for this role. And the LDP has grown so much in the last few years. She's had a career in that and worked closely with public officials for years. So she knows the people downtown. She knows the lawmakers. She knows the elected officials. She has a relationship with the mayor, and then the same kind of relationship on the private side. So I think that is part of the reason it's been so successful.
Right. How can someone find out more about the board? And if they wanted to serve, what would they do?
We have information on our website, probably more than anybody cares to know, but there are pages on both of our boards. But for Downtown Management District, go to our website, louisvilledowntown.org, about LDP. There's some drop downs that you can find out. When Andy talks about properties that are inside that bid district, this is a very legally determined, bounded area. We actually just went back to Metro Council this past year, this summer, to expand those boundaries. You have to have a certain percentage of those property owners say yes to being included in it, because there is an assessment that's put on those properties. That money is what pays for clean and safe and beautification and welcoming. That is mandated by state statute. That was the whole reason for creating the ability to create a bid. And so I think the makeup of the board, who's on our board, why we have 25 people representing downtown stakeholders is important because it does change how downtown looks and feels. And like Andy said, you know that you're in a space that is taken care of and you're meant to be in.
Absolutely. Well, I thank you all for being on the show today. Anytime you want to come back and promote something, give us a call and we'll get you back on.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And next up, we have Brightside. Welcome back to Metro Matters on Metro TV. My guest is Lori Roberts. Lori is the Executive Director with Brightside. Hi, Lori. Welcome.
Hi. Thanks so much for having us today.
Absolutely. So we think we know everything about Brightside, but I'm sure we don't. So let's start off with, what is the mission? What is Brightside and what's your mission?
Yeah. So Brightside was actually founded in 1986 by Mayor Jerry Abramson. It was one of the first things he did when he took office, and his whole goal was to beautify Louisville. He saw potential for cleanliness. He saw potential for flowers and daffodils and all of those kind of things that really draw people into downtown. And so he created Brightside, modeled off of Operation Brightside in St. Louis. Okay. So when we started out, we were just downtown cleanups, and that was kind of our whole focus. And then he planted daffodils along what was formerly known as Spaghetti Junction, and then along the Waterston Ring. But since then, through all of our iterations of mayors from that point, and through Mayor Abramson again, we have expanded to be not just cleanliness. We do education around cleanliness in our school systems. We do beautification efforts. We have our Brightside program, which are the landscaped medians that you see throughout the city. We've planted another almost 700,000 daffodil bulbs since we started,
Oh, wow.
along with tree plantings and a whole gamut of other things. But true to our nation, our mission is to connect people for a cleaner and safer Louisville. We want to bring people together to do neighborhood cleanups, to give them the supplies and the resources that they need to help affect change in their own neighborhoods.
Wow, that's amazing. It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And it takes a lot of people to be able to do what we do. So we have a small staff, myself as director, and then I have 3 staff members, an education coordinator, a community outreach coordinator, and then our administrative coordinator who keeps us all in check in our office. She makes sure that our phones and emails are being answered. But then it takes, an army of 15,000 volunteers every year to go out and do the neighborhood cleanups, to do the beautification projects that we do, and to go out and reach the kiddos that we reach in our school system.
So you talk about there's 15,000 volunteers needed. And so your board, Brightside board, is a volunteer board.
Yes.
How many people do you have on the board?
So-
and talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we can have up to 30 people mayor appointed on our board. Right now we sit at about 18 to 19 people voting, but we have 6 ex officio members who are non-voting from partner agencies like MSD and Louisville Metro Parks and Recreation, just to name a couple, Downtown Partnership. The people that really sort of help us make sure that we are reaching the right communities and doing the right work in tandem. But we can have up to 30 people on our board, and our board serves as advisory for my staff and I. They make sure that the programs that we have, like Brightside Kids, is serving the right content to our school children. So we have representatives from JCPS on our board to make sure that we're not adding a burden to the teacher's day. We're really trying to take a burden away from the teacher.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so what metro department is Brightside closely aligned with?
So we are our own agency, but we work most closely with Public Works and Solid Waste Administration Services. But we also do work with APCD, Air Pollution Control District. We do work with several partner agencies, like I mentioned, MSD, LG&E, the water company. We work very closely with our parks systems, both the public and private parks, because we are in, basically, if it's a public space, Brightside wants to be there and make sure that it's clean and safe for the people who live in Louisville. So our work is entirely throughout Jefferson County and the Louisville metro area.
And so if you're not on the board, and we are here today to talk about boards and commissions, but for the sake of our listeners, if you're not on the board, but you do want to volunteer, how does a person do that?
So we have a couple of, well, actually, we've got several ways that you can volunteer with us. So on our boards, we have 5 different committees that are board-led: cleanliness, fundraising, education, community outreach, and then obviously our executive board. And all of those committees that are led by our board are open to community members. So if you are, let's say that you don't know that you want to join a board yet, you're not ready to make that leap, you're not sure what our work entails on that board, you can sit on one of those committees as a community member, non-voting, and see kind of the work that the board is doing in that advisory capacity. And then if that's not where you want to be right now, you can always join in a neighborhood cleanup. Let's say that your neighborhood it's got a lot of litter, or you see a need in another neighborhood that maybe you don't live in. We can register you for a neighborhood cleanup or one of our community-wide cleanups. We give you the trash bags, the gloves. We work with Clean Collaborative and Solid Waste Administration to collect those bags after your cleanup event. We make it very easy for people to do the work. We provide all the supplies. You just have to provide the hands to do the work.
Is there anything about the board that you want to promote or say before we end the show?
Yeah, so we actually do have openings right now. As I said, we can have up to 30, but we sit comfortably around 25 people. So we are recruiting for new board members. And if litter and cleanliness and community safety is something that you are passionate about, those are the kind of people that we want to invite to join us on the board. We love having people that are in diverse, backgrounds. So maybe you're in marketing, maybe you're a lawyer, maybe you are a teacher, and you have this passion around what we do. We would invite you to have a conversation, see if our board is a good fit for you, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. Well, Lori, thank you for stopping by today and
Absolutely.
letting us know all about Brightside, because we think we know about it,
Right.
but all of the things that you've mentioned today, I had no idea. So I thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you again for having me. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lori, for joining. You gave us a lot of good information, and I hope the citizens of Louisville will follow. You know what we didn't say?
What?
Give us your website so that they can follow up with you.
Yes, absolutely. So for anyone who's interested in finding out more about our board or volunteering with us just as a community member, you can find all of the information on louisvilleky.gov. Just look for Brightside in the search bar, or you can search brightsideinc.org. Either way, you'll get to us.
Perfect. And thank you all for watching Metro Matters on Metro TV. See you next time.